For my regular YouTube audience, you know what you need to do next to get to the information that you want from this video. But for those who are new to my channel, here are some key points to help you work best with the information in this video. Number 1. Timestamps and other important information can be found in the description to this video. Number 2. The dates of the energies that are unfolding in the week ahead are in the introduction section of this video. Number 3. The degrees of current planet placements and their location in signs are also in the introduction section of this video. Number 4. I'm a personal astrologer giving a general astrology reading in this video. For some people it will resonate. For others, it will not this week due to the influence of planets in your own personal horoscope. It may vary from week to week how much my forecast will resonate with you. If you would like a reading with me to explore your own chart further, the link is also in the description for this video. Number 5. I am using the traditional system of whole sign astrology for my analysis in this video. Number 6. By listening to the introduction, it's going to help you know what's in store for you this week. And then you can go to your sun, moon, and rising signs for more information on what to expect specifically. Number 7. I use both Vedic and Western astrology techniques with what is known as the tropical astrology chart, or, for those who aren't aware, the Western astrology chart. Please explore the placement of your Western or tropical astrology sun, moon, and rising signs using the timestamps for this video. Number 8. Haters and hateful comments will be removed from this video. This is a safe space for everyone who visits here, and like a good bouncer at a nightclub would do, I will eject any haters from this platform. And now here's a final couple of tidbits of information for you about how to use this video. Astrology is not designed to scare you. It's designed to give you information so that you know what the good and the challenging energies in the week ahead will be, and you can therefore consciously work with them to the best of your advantage. Remember, knowledge is power. Now there are scammers about, and so if you should receive a message from me on any platform requesting your money for a reading, know that it is a scam, report them immediately. And now settle in and let's see what the astral skies have in store for the week ahead. Well, hello everybody and welcome to this week's Astro Weather Report. We have so much to get through today, so without further ado, let's dive on in. First up for this week, we have a very interesting configuration. This is Mars in a trine to Neptune, and this only really happens maybe twice in 2 years, so it's not as regular as the things that occur annually. This is happening on the 28th of October. That's Australian time. You might like to double check what time that is in your part of the world, but here is Mars up here in Cancer, making a beautiful little trine down to Neptune in Pisces. And this is the energy that we're going to be exploring very closely this week. This will be at 27 degrees of Cancer, and of course Neptune being the larger, slower moving planet at 27 degrees of Pisces. Now this is a combination for action, Mars, meeting intuition, Neptune, and in a really harmonious, benevolent way. So this energy looks set to move us in the right direction. Now there's plenty of other things going on in the world that are causing upheaval at the moment, and not least of which is what's coming up in November, particularly the moons, the lunations, the new moons and the full moons of November look very potent, as well as an opposition from Pluto-Mars. But we'll talk about those in later Astro Weather Reports, and also on my Patreon page. I go into great detail about those things. But for this week, the main one that we will see influencing us is this more rare trine between Mars and Neptune, taking us in the right direction this week. So our compassion is transmuted into action. We wear our hearts on our sleeves a little more, and we solve our problems in a kindler, gentler way. Mars is the problem solver. We're going to do it with Neptunian flair. We are going to be compassionate about what's happening in the world, and we'll take action, Mars, to try and alleviate the horror, the suffering, the grieving in the world. What a great energy coming along just in the nick of time this week. Now, this energy, it mixes in a fascinating way because these planets, Neptune and Mars, are usually quite polaric. They're very different. They're very operating at different ends of the spectrum, really, but they're doing a complementary tango this week. So compromise comes easier now. We move through life's activities in a more gentle and relaxed pace, and patience becomes so much more than a virtue. It's a state of being. We are in the energy of patience with our lives and with people around us. It's so good. So, my friends, take time to participate in beautiful activities now. Paint, dance, go swimming, go sailing, do, activities on water. Mars is to take action and be active, and Neptune is the water god. So it may just transport you to a realm of happiness to integrate that energy in whatever ways you can. So enjoy, get creative, get artistic. Neptune's the higher octave of artistry and creativity. Sing, make music, do stuff that creates and makes the world a more beautiful, beautiful place. So that's what's happening on the 28th of October. Also on the 28th of October, we have something that's not quite so fun and joyful, but it's something I talk about twice a year. It's Venus in a square aspect with Saturn, and we've got Venus over here in Sagittarius, and we've got Saturn over here in Pisces, making a square aspect to one another. As I said, it's on the 28th of October, but this is happening at 12 degrees of Sagittarius and 12 degrees of Pisces between these mutable signs. Then on the 30th of October, we have Mercury in an opposition to Uranus. Here's Mercury in Scorpio, and here is Uranus up there in Taurus, getting awfully close to the fixed star Algol once again. But this opposition is taking place at 26 degrees of Taurus and Scorpio. Mercury is also pulling ahead of the Sun at this point in his trajectory in readiness for his future retrograde that's also coming up at the end of November, early December. And then finally this week, we've got the 31st of October. Mercury will be making a trine to Neptune because Mercury will be moving up to these latter degrees. Here we are of the water sign Scorpio, 27 degrees Scorpio, trining Neptune at 27 degrees here in Pisces. Excuse me. So these are the energies forming this week, but the one we're really going to focus on is the Mars energy in a trine to Neptune and all its potential for positivity this week. Well, it's going to make us optimistic and enthusiastic about fulfilling our desires. We'll put energy into our dreams and hopes and aspirations. Our dreams also go to a more high-minded level. We might be a bit less concerned with the practical, but we're more idealistic about what we want to see happen in our lives and in the world around us. Ego and pride are less likely to get in our way this week. We want to help others and we'll take action to do so. It's an excellent time for spiritual work as well, in both a personal realm, but also spiritual work if you're a professional spiritual worker, spiritual guide, if you're doing sort of spiritual counseling or working with esoteric matter such as astrology, regression work, energy healing, that sort of thing. It's a great time to get either involved in that, or if you're a professional worker in those realms, work can go very, very smoothly this week for you. Neptunian careers can also be benefited if you work with music, poetry, fantasy, film. It's a time, and psychology I should add as well, it's a time when you can really have a lot of success in those realms as well. We can be assertive, Mars energy, in a way that's kindly, gentle and non-threatening, Neptunian energy. We can be more protected by the divine, Neptune energy, in difficult, harsh conditions. So we are surrounded by angels, let's say, or good energy, good juju. Luck is on our side in that regard. We can be confident that our endeavors will tend to be successful under the energy. It's like the divine's holding space for everything that we undertake around the 28th of October because of this beautiful trine between these two planets. So how is this going to play out for each and every sign? Let's explore that now. Let's start with our lovely Cancer friends this time, because that's where Mars is, and Mars is the faster moving planet, still slower than Mercury, Sun, Moon and Venus, but faster than Neptune. So we're looking at that being where the expression of this energy will be coming out and being felt. So with Mars in Cancer, the energy that is forming with this beautiful trine will be in the first house of Cancer risings, Sun or Moon people. And I spoke about the day this is happening and the degree in the introductory piece if you missed that. Now, this is going to mean that this is the house of self. The first house is the house of us, self, what motivates you, how we want to be treated by the world, the first impressions that we give. And it is very much, for the lack of a better word, an egocentric area of the chart. It's very self-oriented and self-focused. But with this beautiful energy, Cancer, ego and pride aren't going to get in the way this week. You're going to be able to do things with not only love for self and care for self, but with compassion for those around you. And the decisions and choices you make this week, you're going to be very considerate of how they're impacting everybody in your sphere, not only in your family, in your community, but in your country and in your region and the whole world. There is a consideration for the impact that you're making upon the world in which we live this week. Ego and pride, self-orientation doesn't get in the way as much as it sometimes otherwise does, for any sign with an emphasis on the first house. So not just Cancer people. Cancer people, I'll just say also, very compassionate, generous people, usually though to their family. They want to protect their family, they want to grow their family. If they're particularly patriotic, they might want to protect and grow their country as well. So that's the orientation of Cancer energy, their family, their community, what belongs to them. So it is quite self-oriented, but it's about my family, my community, my country. And so it's still self-oriented. It's one of the early signs, Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer. It's the first water sign. So it's still focused in on the self in that way. When you get up to signs like Aquarius, Pisces, even to a lesser extent Capricorn a little, it becomes everyone out there, community, the world, etc. But while we're in these early signs, Cancer being the first water sign, it's my family, my country, etc., etc. So that's why I'm just taking a little diversion there for Astrology 101 for people who are interested. Now, this is an energy that's going to make you compassionate about your family and about your country and about your community, but maybe compassionate in a more broad sense because Neptune has no boundaries. So your compassion is not just going to be for what is yours, Cancer. It's going to be for potentially the whole world, and you will want to take action and be assertive in helpful ways to help the whole world. And so this is a gift, this is a blessing. Utilize this energy. If that means going and having a protest, about certain things happening in the world right now, please do. I'll join you. If that means, gently affirming your point of view about something, by all means. But also treating others as you want to be treated yourself, as you would want to be treated in certain circumstances. It's about compassion for all men. It's about compassion for the people and the life they're living, and compassion for self. Neptune is compassion here, expressing through Mars in your first house, compassion and taking action with a compassionate eye for what you're going through. So you might be inspired not only to act on behalf of the world out there and the things that you care about that belong to you, but you might be inspired to act in your own life and make changes out of compassion. I'm going to use this as an illustration. I'm not talking about me personally here, but I'm going to use this as an example. Let's say I've been struggling with carrying big heavy burdens at my work for maybe months, weeks, years even. And I decide, this is stressing me out. This is causing me so much what is that? Cortisol release in my body every day at work, carrying these big, heavy burdens. I need to show myself compassion and take action to be kind to myself. Maybe I'm going to go in and speak to my boss about lightening my load. Maybe I'm going to start applying for other jobs somewhere else to change what I'm having to deal with, which is too much for me. And I have been living without self-compassion. Now I'm going to take action to bring compassion to myself. I've used the illustration here of a job or a career, but it could be in any area. It could be with your health. Be compassionate to yourself about your health and your well-being and in the physical body. Be compassionate to the self and take action about yourself regarding your finances, regarding your friendships and your social connections, whatever area it is that is causing you burden and struggle and difficulty. This is an energy that's saying, well, what are you going to do about it, Cancer? Take action. I've had a lot of precious Cancer people commenting on my YouTube videos over the last couple of months about how hellish it's been for Cancer people. I'm not saying that it is not. I have people in my very close family who are Cancer Sun and Cancer Rising, etc. And, they're going through tough times, as are most people on the planet in this current climate that we are living in. So let's never forget that, Cancer. Yes, you're going through tough times, but so is everyone right now. What can we do to be kind and compassionate to ourselves? What can we do to be kind and compassionate to everyone around us who is also struggling? Let's keep that in mind going forward. So you're going to be more protected by the divine this week from harsh conditions, particularly physical conditions, or particularly mistakes you've made yourself, and you put your foot in it, or you said the wrong thing, and oh my God, now it could all blow up. Well, it's like the universe is kind of protecting you with this beautiful trine from Neptune, which is the higher octave of kindly, polite, lovely Venus. Neptune is a very spiritual and angelic planet, and it's like the angels and your spirit guides and the higher beings are just putting some buffers around you to protect you from what really could be going wrong in your life, usually at your own instigation. So that's what I'm talking about here. You've done something, maybe said something, put your foot in it, made a mistake, but the divine's going to protect you from the fallout from that with this energy. So that can be very, very helpful, of course. Moving along, thank you, my beautiful Cancer rising, suns, and moon people. All right, Leo rising, Leo sun, Leo moon people. Well, we have Neptune in a trine to Mars expressing through the 12th house. And so this is very much an energy of very active dreams, active dream life. So you are likely to get many prophecies in your dreams when you're dreaming. So have a dream journal beside the bed. Also pay attention again to any omens that pop into your life throughout the day. Birds, animals, songs that play on the radio that are meaningful, and that sort of thing. Lots of omens, lots of signals can be present. In fact, they're very proactive, those sorts of omens and spirit guide events and angel numbers and things like that for you, Leo. But what does that even mean? Well, this is why I want you to have a dream journal beside the bed, because when you wake up at night and you've just had a dream and it's very profound, write it down, and then you can sit and ponder on it over your breakfast coffee the next morning, and the meaning will come to you, because all of these things have a meaning. The omens, the songs playing on the radio that mean something, the dreams that you have. And so what this energy is saying is, yes, the divine is going to send you messages, prophecies, insights, visions, wisdom, Neptune energy to the 12th house. But what are you going to do about it? How are you going to utilize that energy? With Mars here being the receiving planet, there is going to be the opportunity for you, Leo, to be inspired by those things and take action. Let's say you have a dream about, setting things right with, a friend from high school who you've had a falling out with years and years ago, and you have a dream about it randomly out of the blue. And you're like, why have I had that dream? Well, think about it. What action can you take to address the themes in that dream? Maybe you need to jump on Facebook, find that person and apologize. Maybe, whatever the circumstance. I could give you a million examples of how dreams can be a message for us. But what I've just given you is a pretty good example, because this is the past. The 12th house is the past. So don't let your ego and pride get in the way of rectifying things from the past, especially as you'll probably be inspired to do so under this energy. And you can be compassionate to people who've hurt you. You can be forgiving now, and take that necessary... I'm not saying go to that person and put yourself in harm's way again, but Mars is to take action, Neptune is forgiving. So you might actually consciously think, I forgive that person for what they did to me in the past. And then you can move on with your life feeling lighter, less burdened by some of those old deep wounds to the psyche. This is a healing house, the 12th house. It's very much the energy of what has happened in the past and how it's impacting us in our current incarnation, be that in a past life or earlier in this life. So really there is the chance to dissolve those wounds to the self, to the soul, Leo, through some kind of conscious action this week. And like I said, it might require you to be the instigator, to go to that person and ask for forgiveness, to try and set things to right with something from the past. The 12th house is also the house of secrets. And so here with Neptune here, there might be, the 12th house is secrets that you don't know about. So somebody might be doing something behind your back in a secretive way. 12th house is what we aren't aware of. But the good news is this energy is a protective energy. Mars is the warrior, Neptune is the divine, angels and the angelic realms. And when these two combine in such a very blessed kind of formation, it's protecting us from harsh, difficult conditions. And in this case, from people doing the dodgy on us behind the scenes. People who are, maybe pulling the puppet strings to cause trouble. Well, they're not going to get away with it under this energy because the divine has got our back this week. I can think of a rather prominent and well-known politician who has a lot of Leo in their chart who may just benefit from this particular energy this week for that very reason. So this is very much a time when the divine is perhaps sending in little miracles to support us and help us in certain situations. This is also an energy where we can be confident that our endeavors go well, and they usually will. So if we are working on anything behind the scenes, now I'm not talking about underhanded shit, I'm talking about stuff like maybe we're working on a surprise party for our partner. We're doing it secretively behind the scenes. They don't know about it. Then, we can actually know that anything that we're doing that is a bit secretive and a bit hidden from other people will go well, because this energy supports us in those particular endeavors. So if we're trying to organize a surprise 40th for our partner, they're going to be surprised. It's going to go well. The secret will be kept and everything will go smoothly. For example, you might be working on a project that's top secret. For some reason or another, just know that project will go smoothly. Maybe you're organizing a very secretive, creative venture and it's going to go well. So secretive work for our beautiful Leo rising people can actually be blessed and go smoothly this week. Thank you very much, my lovely Leos. Okay, Virgo rising, Virgo sun, and Virgo moon people. Well, the energy of Neptune in a trine with Mars in Cancer is exhibiting through your 11th house. And this is actually really lovely energy. It's a very supportive energy. And when it's expressing through the 11th house, it means that any social endeavors that you undertake are going to be successful. If you're organizing a big event, if you're an events manager for a big concert hall or something, know that this combination of energies is going to benefit you. It's going to bless you. That's beautiful. If you are trying to, organize a party in your house, have a few friends around and, a bit of a celebration or something, this energy is going to make it successful. Any socially oriented events, particularly large scale ones, I would just add, are going to be smooth running if they're being held this week. If they're not being held this week, some of the planning might go very smoothly because of this energy. So if there's important things to achieve, important milestones that you need to cross off in whatever it is that you're planning to do socially, this would be the week to try and get some of those milestones out of the way, because they'll all be able to be ticked off relatively easily. This is also an energy of being able to be assertive in a non-threatening way. And for any of my beautiful Virgo friends who've been maybe having issues with friends, struggles with, people who are a bit out of line or something like that, this is actually a week where you can say, oh, look, hang on, I think you've overstepped the mark here a bit. This is the house of friendships. And let's face it, sometimes friendships can be a little bit fractious. It's just the nature of being human. Well, this energy is going to give you the chance to sort of be assertive and draw a boundary where it's needed in a way that's not going to upset the friends or the status quo. You're going to be able to sort things out in a compassionate way. So use that opportunity, use this energy to set things straight. Now, this house in the horoscope, the 11th house, is the house of our aspirations and dreams and ambitions. And we can be very optimistic about our dreams and ambitions. We can be very enthusiastic about our dreams and ambitions this week. And because we can take action and see it reach some sort of fulfillment. It doesn't mean that you're suddenly going to be the next Joe Rogan or something here on YouTube, but it does mean that you can take a step forward towards the achievement of your dreams, knowing the divine has got your back. So take that step, whatever it looks like. Maybe you hire an advertising manager, or maybe you engage a graphic designer or something to help you achieve your dreams, and it's a really good move because they're going to bless you, they're going to help you. This is the house, as I said, of dreams and aspirations. So what steps do you need to take today, my Virgo friends, to achieve your desires, your dreams, your ambitions? Use this energy to your advantage. You can also be very protected. This is a blessed house. I love the 11th house, but it's an energy of protection. Mars, Neptune, Trine. And you might be very protected this week from failure, for example. This is the house of the rewards and the gains that we get from our worldly achievements. And so, if you have put yourself out there in some way, or you've published something, or you've released something, or you've gone for a new job or something like that, done something out there in the world, then there is a protective energy from disaster, because this energy sort of prevents harsh, difficult conditions. So I'm not saying you're going to get the job you've put in for, but you may get an interview. You're protected from the disappointment of, sorry, but thanks but no thanks with a job, which is a harsh rebuttal that nobody likes to experience. Well, that protection from sort of the harshness is there to some degree or another. So you can also be fairly confident that your endeavors will tend to go quite well. So any endeavors towards your ambitions, anything, any step towards more gainfulness for what you're putting out in the world can usually succeed. You can have greater success with your dreams and aspirations this week because this energy has got your back, my beautiful Virgo friends. All right. Lucky, not lovely this week, lucky Libras, I'm going to call you. Lucky Libras, well, we've got this energy forming a beautiful trine between Neptune and Mars, expressing through the 10th house. An angular house, always, we feel those things stronger when things are on an angular house and expressing through an angular house. So this is an energy, Libra, where you're going to feel very enthusiastic and optimistic about what you're doing in the world, whatever that may be. Now, I'm a Libra moon. I work part-time as a town planner in one of the local councils near where I live, and we're working on a rural land use strategy at the moment. So this is some work that I'm putting out there in the world. We're having steering committee meetings and, engaging with the public and so forth. Those sorts of things can go very smoothly and well. What are you doing in your work? What are you putting out there in your career at the moment, my beautiful Librans? It's going to be supported. It's going to be blessed, and you'll have a lot more vavavoom to give to it this week as well. Maybe, you're like me, doing astrology work online. Well, you can be, achieve much more this week. I'm really glad for that. I'm preparing to go away for Thanksgiving to America and spend the time with David's family, my husband's family in America for Thanksgiving. And I'm trying to prepare all my videos for YouTube so that they're ready to go while we are away in America. And lo and behold, I've been struggling to get them all done. I'm too busy. This is an energy that says it's going to go okay. We're going to get them all done. Probably next week I'll be able to tick, 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 tick them all off the list, and they'll all get done because I'll be more enthusiastic, and I'll be more go-getter about fulfilling that spiritual work that I do and put out there in the world every week. Yay! Very happy to see that. This is also the realm of the chart that is about all about the image we need to display in order to give the vibe of success, the energy of success. And we need to utilize our Mars energy in a very kindly, gentle, compassionate way in order to be successful this week. So that might mean, you go into the staff meeting and somebody's going through a rough time, they mention that, and you show compassion, pardon me, you show kindness as a leader perhaps in your workplace. By doing so, you actually are displaying an energy of success related to this energy, this divine trine. By doing so, you can create more success for yourself. By showing compassion, by showing kindness, by taking action around care. This is very much not only Cancer energy, but Neptune energy as well. So the more that you can do that and bring that kind of thing into the workplace, especially if you happen to be a leader in the workplace, the more success you can attain for yourself, because your superiors will notice that, or your other workmates will notice that and appreciate that, and you'll go up in their estimation, and that can pay off over time. So by bringing this energy of Neptune trine to Mars in, taking action with compassion, you can create more success overall for yourself in the long term as well. It's an energy of wanting to help, and you'll be willing to take action to do so. So that's wanting to help your boss, wanting to help, heaven forbid, the government, wanting to help people in 10th house positions, leaders. So you'll be looking for ways to contribute and support and help at your place of career, but also in your own businesses and also with any kind of leadership as well. If you need to be assertive with a boss, maybe a boss has been taking you too much for granted, then this is an energy where you can be assertive in a non-threatening way, in a way that doesn't come across as a smart ass, but in a way that really lays the groundwork, puts a boundary in place and says, look, I can't work late every night this week. I've got commitments at home, and I'm afraid you'll have to find somebody else to do that late shift or whatever. So we can be assertive, and we can do it in a way that comes across compassionately and benevolently. And of course, this energy is protective as well. It's a protective energy, so we can be very divinely guarded. Neptune is the divine realm, guarding us, protecting us, Mars energy, from difficult conditions with a boss, from falling out of favor with the boss, from getting in trouble with the government. Thank God for this. We're going to be this. I hate that term, but it does apply here. The universe is going to hold space for us to be able to function in society out there in the world. It's going to hold space for us to put our stamp out there in the world, our project out in the world, and we'll be protected from any difficult counteractive sort of measures. So, maybe let's use the example of you're in competition with somebody at work. I'll use my example again, rural land use strategy. Let's say that there was somebody else trying to cut my lunch in some way, I can't imagine how, but with that particular strategy. Well, I would be protected from them getting a foothold in my project and the project that I'm running. They wouldn't be able to do so this week. So our what we're putting out there in the world, what we're contributing out there in society is protected. It goes well. It can be successful. It will cause more success for us. Also, our ego and pride aren't getting in the way, so we can be more clear and focused about what we're actually achieving. So it's really an excellent time, especially if you work in Neptunian fields. You're going to have a lot of enthusiasm for, art and creativity, and you'll come up with all sorts of imaginative ideas for the work that you're doing. You can create something really, truly beautiful under this energy. I feel, my Libran friends. So be confident that your efforts will be received well and generate greater success for you. This is also, just to sort of wrap this up for you, this is also the realm of the father and father figures in Western astrology. And because of that, there can be some, you might need to take some action to support your father at this time, but it's all going to go well. It's all going to turn out. Maybe his health and well-being is supported under this energy. Maybe he's feeling very compassionate and wanting to take action and do something of worth and value out there in the world, and you should encourage and support him to do so. The house of the father here. It can also, on occasion, be a mother figure if the mother is the one who wears the pants in your family, more so than a father. Let's move along. Thank you, lovely Librans. Scorpio rising, sun and moon people. Well, the energy of Neptune in a trine with Mars is expressing through the 9th house. So my Scorpio friends, if you have had any visa issues, immigration issues, if you've been trying to travel and there's been some obstacles to everything you need to organize, and my God, don't you need to organize a lot when you travel? I'm just realizing that as I prepare to travel myself a little later this year. This is an energy that's going to be protective of what you're doing. It can help any endeavors to do with international affairs to run smoothly. So, you're applying for that visa, you'll get it in a matter of a day. You might even be doing some international trade, trying to create some agreements or something like that, and it's all going to go without a hitch. This energy for this week ahead, and I told you the dates and the degrees, especially if it's triggering something personal in your chart. This is the case in the introduction piece to this video, so check that out. But the blessing is available for you, my beautiful Scorpio friends, if you are dealing with any international affairs this week. Now, also, speaking of international affairs, any international affairs that require compassion, and aren't there a hell of a lot of international affairs requiring compassion, you are going to be more inspired to do something to help and to take action and to be there in some sort of a problem-solving capacity. So maybe you decide, I'm going to donate to the victims of the hurricane in North Carolina and Tennessee. Or maybe if you're nearby, you decide that's it. I'm going to go and, help repair, infrastructure of some sort that needs attention. All sorts of things that we can do mostly on an international basis here through compassion and taking action from the compassion in our hearts. So for most people, Scorpio, it's going to be through some donation or some crowdfunding or something like that, that you'll be able to do so. That's really where most of our action and successful actions lie when we are in a faraway place where there's a lot of difficulty. Like I'm in Australia, North Carolina's a long way from me. So it's an international issue that I can give my compassion to through raising money and donating to various people who are doing good charitable work. But also there might be an opportunity. This is not necessarily the house in the horoscope to do with humanitarian action. That's more of an 11th house thing. But if it's international and it requires, if it's an international humanitarian concern, then this is an energy for being compassionate and maybe going, and protesting or taking a stand in some way, doing some sort of humanitarian action-based work coming from the compassion in your heart. What else can I tell you about the 9th house? Well, it is an excellent energy for spiritual work. And this is usually higher-minded spiritual work, anything that requires an intellectual basis rather than than simply the prophetic or the sensational kind of. By sensational, I mean physical sensation. You know, some people are very brilliant, let's say, at massage, and they can heal through the sensation and the healing and the energy in their hands, either through Reiki or, you know, massage therapy or something like that. But that's not a ninth house thing. That's something much, much different. Ninth house is more of the mind and intellectual spirituality. So it's things like astrology, which is a spiritual understanding with a scientific basis, and based in the science of what we're starting to believe might be magnetism between planetary bodies and stars and things like that. We live in a very electromagnetic and magnetic electric universe. So I diverge off onto some of the topics I love, but it's the higher minded spiritual practice that can go very, very well this week if you're involved in such things. Also, anything higher minded that it requires maybe some planning or strategizing, because Mars is the general, so to speak, of the horoscope, and he is working out he's a soldier as well, I will add that too, but he's a strategist, and he likes to have strategy. So if you are looking at going to university or studying any higher minded topics, could be medicine. Neptune is medicine. It could be, it could be law in the ninth house. But you will be developing a strategy this week that can serve you well into the future to achieve your life purpose if you require some kind of university degree to do so. This is also the house of luck and good fortune in the Vedic astrology system. And of course, this is a beautiful energy of protection by the divine. The angels, which are represented by Neptune, are actually protecting. Mars is this warrior, soldier, protective energy. So in such a benevolent combination, you can actually be very much fortunate and lucky because you are protected from difficulties, because the worst is not likely to happen for you this week due to this energy exhibiting through the house of luck. So it's lucky when things, we avoid disaster. Sometimes we don't even realize this, and I'm the worst one for not being grateful enough, I have to confess. We dodge a bullet in some way, shape or form in life, but all we can see is what we didn't achieve or where we didn't end up. Really, we need to be grateful for the protection the universe offered us from difficult conditions, difficult people, harsh circumstances, and so on. We drive down the road and get to work, and then we walk into the office and hear on the news there was a crash at the very intersection we drove through only 5 minutes after we'd driven through it. This kind of thing where we're protected and lucky because the divine is watching over us, and sometimes we don't even realize it. This is the kind of thing that can happen for you coming up on the 28th of October this week, my beautiful Scorpio friends. So be confident that your plans for the future can go well, that you're protected this week, and that you can utilize the passion within you, Scorpio, to help others and take action to help and support others on an international basis. Thank you, my beautiful Scorpio. Okay, Sagittarius rising, sun or moon people. Well, for you guys, the energy of Mars is expressing through, got it wrong there, is expressing through your 8th house, Cancer. And so this is the house of crisis. But the good news with this energy of Neptune trine Mars is that you are protected this week, protected from crisis, protected from harsh, threatening, difficult conditions, which otherwise might get the better of you. 8th house is, having the rug pulled out from under you. It's a challenging house. It's very beneficial in many ways because it leads to a great spiritual enlightenment, and it can bring sudden, unexpected change, get you out of a rut and bring blessings sometimes. But this week it is protecting you from difficulties. So thank the divine for its angelic presence in your life this week. This also is an energy, it's really quite lovely, Sagittarius, that gives you more aspirations that are high-minded. So what are your aspirations? Well, in this case, 8th house is aspirations that are for other people. Aspirations, Sagittarius, for your partner in regard to, their resources. Aspirations for community development, because the 8th house has to do with community property. So you might be this week, Sagittarius, working on something to do with community infrastructure or community resources or community programs or something like that. And those sorts of things can go very, very well for you this week. You might be very, your aspirations in that field can be very successful and can really come together well and be really well facilitated. As I said a moment ago, they're also going to be quite high-minded, and you'll have a lot of enthusiasm and optimism to put towards such things. So I'm really quite excited about this due to a certain situation that's unfolding in my family at the moment. The 8th house is also the house of taxes. Let's start with taxes. You can be very much protected from difficulties with taxes this week. So it's a great week to do your taxes, I've got to say, Sagittarius. So if you're in Australia, you've only got about a week left to get it in before the cutoff line. Australia's taxes are usually due by the end of October. But if you're in other parts of the world, then what you're undertaking this week can serve to be something of a support for you and a blessing for you in your taxes, for example, in America that are due in April. So keep all your receipts, keep a record of everything, because this week could be just the week that, gets you off the hook at tax time, okay? This is also an energy for wills, payouts, and windfalls. And this can be, for some Sagittarius people, a lucky week where you get a lucky break, a windfall, something goes your way. But more than that, it's really getting you out of a rut, getting you unstuck in some way, Sagittarius, because the divine has your back. So maybe you've been, trying to find an appropriate location to run a yoga class for the community or something like that, and you haven't been able to find a venue. Lo and behold, this week the divine's got your back, and you can find a community hall or a council office room or something like that where you can hold your yoga classes. This is the realm, as I said, of community property, but it also relates to you being able to have your endeavors go very well and have a bit of a lucky break, a lucky stroke, a windfall, to get maybe a hall to do your yoga class in, might be a bit of a windfall in wherever it is that you live. It's a mystical house, it's a magical house, and Neptune is also a mystical, magical planet. So there will be something that unfolds. Mars is to take action, Mars is to see things unfold. It's about doing. Mars is a doing planet. It's about seeing things unfold. It's about seeing things happen in a magical, mystical way. So you might go and have a Reiki session, and my God, you walk out and you took that action by going and doing something that could be magical and mystical, and you walk out feeling like a brand new person. All your aches and pains are gone and fantastic. Healing. It's a healing house. Maybe you go to see some sort of mystical healer. You go and visit a shaman. Do you remember some years ago here on the Astro channel here on Guiding Star Astrology, Tessa used to work here at the Guiding Star Astrology website, sharing her shamanic insights. Wonderful shaman Tessa is. Big love to you, Tess, if you happen to be watching. You might go to have a consultation with Tessa or a shaman, some magical, mystical type healer, and it absolutely transforms you, because this is a house of 180-degree turns around. Sagittarius. Mars is to take action in the house of healing from a mystical planet in a mystical house. So it's really the week for doing such things. Might be a great week to go see an astrologer, maybe do a psychologist as well. It's a house of surgery. So look, if you have surgery scheduled, ordinarily it's not perhaps the best idea to have surgery when Mars is moving through the 8th house. But with this protective energy from Neptune, you might be able to just get by. And that includes things like needles, getting Botox or stuff like that can actually go very well. You're protected from anything damaging unfolding from such endeavors this week. It is an energy of fast changes, shocking events, and dramatic reversals and getting out of a rut. But again, protection energy here. So something may happen this week, Sagittarius, that really shakes things up. But it will do so not in a way that leaves you reeling in a terrible sense, but in a way that you're like, wow, phew, wasn't that great that happened? Wasn't I lucky that happened? So I really see that there could be some quite magical changes coming your way this week. Now, that's not always going to be the case with Mars in the 8th house. It's only because Mars is trined by Neptune. But the good news is Mars is going to be retrograding through your 8th house, Sagittarius, and for everybody, a little later this year, and with a trine from Neptune, because Neptune's going to stick around here. A lot of that is going to be Neptune holding space for you guys with all the kind of things that I've talked about. And I mentioned this for you Sagittarians. I haven't talked about that topic for everybody. The reason I've talked about it for you is because this is one of the most difficult houses. The other extraordinarily difficult house, in my mind, the most difficult house, is actually the 6th house. So I'll talk about that for our Aquarius friends as well. So just know Neptune is there as a really protective element for you in the coming months. So it behoves you to be compassionate to others, to thank the divine for their presence, to pray, and to seek spiritual growth these next few months, because that's where your blessing and protection is coming from. Alrighty, thank you, Sagittarius. Capricorn rising, Capricorn sun, Capricorn moon people. Well, guys, let me tell you that this week is going to be an interesting week because you have a beautiful trine from Neptune to Mars forming and exhibiting through your 7th house. Now, you might have a lot of planets in the 7th house. You might have none in the 7th house. It's going to impact people differently based on what your natal chart looks like. But generally speaking, this energy coming through the 7th house is going to make you very upbeat and optimistic about fulfilling your desires when it comes to other people. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that guy you've got a crush on suddenly going to walk through the door with a bunch of flowers for you, but it may mean that when it comes to sorting out a relationship problem or addressing a relationship issue or making a first move or something, you're going to feel more positive and be willing to take action to deal with that situation. Also, this is the house of clients and audience and business partners as well. And so if you are dealing with any situations with any of those types of people groups, then you have the support of the divine to be more proactive about fulfilling your desires. Let's say you want to grow your Patreon page, as I do. I'm not a Capricorn person, but I do. And they're my audience. They're my family, actually, my Patreon family. Well, you're going to have what it takes this week, the optimism, the creativity, and the enthusiasm to do whatever you need to do to grow your Patreon family and grow the connections there. Because if they're your audience, that's where this energy is directed. You have really also an ability to just remove ego and pride and be able to address any issues that need addressing without upsetting the apple cart in any way. So it is a good time to approach those significant other people in your life, be they husbands, wives, business partners, even talking to your community online, whatever your audience or clients might look like. And you can do so in a way that comes across humbly and graciously, Capricorn, because ego and pride aren't getting in the way with this beautiful trine between Neptune and Mars. Now, if you are in a business, this is a house of business, one of the houses of business because it's the 10th house from the 10th. If you're in a career that is very spiritual, very much maybe creative or artistic even as well. Maybe you're involved with film or poetry or fantasy. Maybe you're working in, astrology or psychology or something like that. This is a great time if you have your own business in any of those realms, those Neptunian realms, for taking great strides forward, because you will know how to take action in an effective way, how to grow your client base, how to create beautiful, wonderful poetry or music or film or something. The universe is really on your side, blessing you this week, because this is a house of business, and Neptune is a magical, mystical planet, sending a beautiful angelic trine, protecting you from mistakes, helping you to make the right choices, helping you to know how to trust your gut and go with the flow and take the right action. Mars, right action. Now, when it comes to other people in your life, I've mentioned that ego and pride can sort of take a back seat so that you come across more gracious and compassionate. But if you need to put a boundary in place, if you need to assert yourself over some issue with a significant other, this energy also has your back. It's a protective energy. Mars is the soldier and the warrior, and Neptune is compassionate. You are able to present any lines in the sand, anything you need to be assertive about. Mars is assertive in a very non-threatening, gentle Neptunian way, where people can welcome that and say, yeah, I think we do need that boundary in place, and I'm totally in agreement, So that can be quite helpful also as well. So don't be afraid to raise difficult subjects this week. The universe actually has your back. And in fact, any endeavors that you want to undertake in a team with another person, like singular team, let's say you want to approach someone to be your tennis partner, or you want to go in cahoots with somebody at work on a special project that you've been given, or maybe you want to maybe you want to sort something out with a partner, and maybe like you say to your partner, look, the backyard's a disaster area, we need to work on it together. Well, any endeavors that you undertake in a team capacity, like one-on-one with somebody else, that's what I mean by team. I don't mean like a football team. I mean together, we're a team, anything like that you undertake will go well. The cleaning up of the backyard, a breeze, because you and your partner are on the same page, and it's like there's magical angel wings helping you get stuff done. Sorting out, the project at work together with your co-worker or something, done without a hitch. And so on and so on. You can be confident that any endeavors done with a partner this week will unfold smoothly and will go well and ultimately be to both of your advantage. So this is a lovely energy. There's balance that can be brought to social situations with this energy. You have compassion and you're willing to take action, for those compassionate motivations within you. This is a house of publicity, our approach to public relations. And as I've already mentioned, you're going to come across in a very gracious way thanks to Neptune's trine to Mars, but you'll also be able to come across compassionately. Maybe, you take a stand for a certain disaster that's unfolding somewhere on the world, and, it really does lift your credibility right up high in front of other people, because this is the house of publicity and public relations, and it's through compassion and the action that you're willing to take regarding compassion for the world and for the people in the world right now that you can actually generate good publicity and recognition for yourself. This is the house of balance as well, fairness and justice. Believe me, Capricorn, really, your sign above all other signs this week is going to be very, very concerned with the situations that are currently unfolding on the planet that do not have balance, that do not have fairness, and that do not have justice for humans. And I just encourage you, Capricorn, whatever you need to do to take action around those issues that you feel compassionately about, please do it. The world needs more graciousness. The world needs more balance and justice and harmony and fairness. I can't help but comment on this. I do notice that last week the BRICS countries all met together, and on that topic I am so glad that there are some countries in the world working on economic balance as we enter into, very soon, Pluto fully being in Aquarius. The timing is perfect. And I'm just so grateful that they are taking great strides forward towards creating a more lateral, even sort of grassroots-based economic division in the world, which is desperately, desperately needed. So just to go off on a tangent there that probably nobody else appreciated. Let's move along. Thank you, Capricorn. I want to talk, speaking of Pluto and Aquarius, let's talk about Aquarius rising, Aquarius sun, and Aquarius moon, people. Okay, guys. We have got Neptune making a beautiful trine to Mars and exhibiting or expressing through the 6th house. Now, this is a biggie. You know, I spoke about this with Sagittarius, but this is one of the difficult houses. It's malefic house in Vedic astrology. But so it does bring challenges, but you are protected from the challenges because Neptune trine to Mars is the angels watching over you and protecting you from what could otherwise be quite challenging and quite a struggle. This is the house of where we struggle and why we struggle. Well, you are actually going to be protected from the struggle this week to some extent or another because of Neptune. Now, you may not see or realize why or how you've been protected, but trust me, you are. If something challenging comes your way, just know that it could have been so much worse had Neptune not been in a trine to Mars in the 6th house. There is protection that is happening here. So be confident that you're going to be protected and don't be afraid to take steps forward in life knowing that the angels have got your back. And the good news is, and I've only talked about this for Sagittarius and yourself, because we're going to have Mars retrograding through Cancer towards the end of the year and into the early part of 2025. And this is going to be Mars retrograding in one of the most difficult houses. Sagittarius is going to have it in their 8th house. You guys are having it in the 6th house. And that's challenging. I've got a video coming out about that in the coming weeks ahead. But Mars retrograding here is going to have space held for it. It's a term I don't really like, but it's the best one to explain what I mean. Space is going to be held by Neptune being in the latter degrees of Pisces and trining it the entire time. So Neptune, the angels, are going to protect you from what could otherwise have been quite challenging with Mars retrograding through the 6th house. Aquarius, so much to be grateful for, so much to be thankful to the divine for. Don't forget to offer your gratitude to the heavenly realms for the fact that the angels, Neptune, is watching or are watching over you and protecting you. Mars is to protect. Neptune is the angelic dimensions. So this is great news. You know, this is the house of adversity. And the good news with this energy this week is that any adversity from maybe enemies or conflicts, any kind of anyone who's trying to pull the rug out from underneath you, you're going to be protected from it. I know I'm kind of repeating myself there, aren't I? But yes, really good. Also, this is an energy. Mars is assertive, and Neptune's trine here is going to help you to be assertive in non-threatening ways. So let's say somebody is just crossing the line with you. You know, they're creating conflict for you at work, or you know, there's a house of enemies as well. They're being overtly against you. Well, you can, you know, stand up and say, now look, hey, this is not acceptable. We are grown adults, and grown adults don't behave this way. So let's just call it a day. You can say whatever it is that you need to say. I'm just off the top of my head there. And it's going to come across not as sort of poking the bear, but as, oh, you know what? You're right. I've been acting like a child. Look, I'm really sorry. Let's see if we can sort this out another way. You know, it's going to come across in a non-threatening way that gets a better result because of the nature of Neptune in a trine with Mars. The other thing is Mars is very physical and Neptune's very spiritual. So it's a really terrific energy in the house of our well-being for directing this energetic flow into something that balances body and spirit. So that might mean doing some Tai Chi or some yoga or, you know, taking a meditative walk in a beautiful park or by a beautiful lake or something. It's about doing something physical and active that is good for the spirit, good for the soul at the same time. And there's many things that are like that. But whatever works for you, take time to invest in it this week because it's really going to help balance your energy in a powerful way. This is about the circumstances of the job that you're in. And that's what the sixth house is all about. And so the circumstances of where you work are going to be quite beautiful this week, quite creative. So it could be that the boss comes into work and brings in a brand new painting to hang in the staff room, and it's absolutely stunning. And while he's there, Neptune energy, he's like, you know what? Our coffee is just crap. No more Nescafe for us. We're going to get, top of the line coffee machine for the staff room here. So a new painting and a brand new coffee machine. Neptune rules coffee. Bonus. This is the circumstances of your job where you work as seen through the sixth house. And there's going to be some action taken to make it more beautiful, more artistic, more pleasant and pleasurable to be in. Fantastic energy there. So it really can dissolve any sort of disharmony, because Neptune is a dissolving influence. It mystifies everything, but it's also dissolving. And so this beautiful trine can dissolve conflict, can dissolve an ugly staff room, can dissolve adversity, and usually through some sort of action. So Aquarius, I'm really excited for you. I think this is actually quite a beneficial energy that could leave you feeling really good about life in the end. And thank God, don't forget to be grateful for Neptune's presence, holding space in the weeks and the months coming up ahead. There's one more thing I meant to mention, and that is that this can be a very healing combination. This is the house of illness and, being out of balance physically. This Mars is a physical energy, of an energy of vitality, and Neptune can, in a trinal aspect, can be very healing in a magical, mystical way. Some of you Aquarius people might be able to resolve addictions or heal some sort of mysterious bodily problems or something this week through this energy. And I would even suggest acupuncture, Mars's needles. Getting acupuncture this week would be a tremendous thing to do to address any health concerns or stress or anything like that you might have. Thank you, beautiful Aquarians. Pisces. Pisces rising, Pisces sun, Pisces moon people. Well, the energy of Mars, Neptune is forming a beautiful trine and expressing through your seventh house. So this could be really blessing your children if you have them, Pisces, and Pisces people usually do love children. This is going to help your children to be very optimistic and enthusiastic about their dreams and desires for their future. And that's good news. We're getting towards the end of 2024. A lot of young people are starting to think about what they want to do next year and where they want to go and this can bring, Neptune's not usually known for its clarity, but Neptune in a trine to Mars can bring clarity of where they need to take action. Oh, I need to apply for this job, or I need to go to this university. So it can really bring a lot of enthusiasm to your children for developing a future that's worth living for themselves. Children can also find that their dreams are much more aspirational and high-minded, which is a great energy as well. Ego and pride, less likely to get in the way of what your children want to do. They're more focused on what makes me happy, what brings me joy, rather than what's going to make me look good in the eyes of my girlfriend or my boyfriend, None of that. It's going to be more about, genuine direction. So in this sense, if you're a Pisces person who has children, this is a lovely, lovely energy. Also, this is an energy of compassion. And let's face it, water signs full of compassion, especially Pisces, the final water sign. Well, you're going to have so much compassion that you're going to want to direct it out into the world in a creative, unique way. This is the house of creativity. So you're going to come up with, I think this week, some very magical, mystical, creative ideas for how to bring more compassion to the world, Pisces. So pay attention to whatever inspiration that you get. The world needs it desperately right now. This is an energy where we can be very protected from any harsh, threatening or difficult conditions. But this is the house of children, also lovers and the people we are in love with. And of course that means that they're the ones being protected from harsh, difficult conditions and threatening circumstances, which is great news, I just want to emphasize the fact, Pisces, that Neptune, when it's in this kind of combination with Mars, can be very protective, but often I'd even say in misty ways we don't realize. So, your son drives to work one morning, gets to work, and lo and behold, as he pulls up, there's a big crash that occurs behind him. 2 minutes later, and he would have been in it. It's that kind of like, oh my God, we don't realize how protected we are, and that the divine and the angels are surrounding us. And so this is this beautiful energy of the divine in a state of protection that we may not even recognize, we may not even know. Sometimes, I've given an example of a crash or something, and I'm not saying the whole world's going to be in crashes and stuff like that, but oftentimes we don't realize how much we missed a difficult situation by the skin of our teeth because we didn't live it. We missed it. And so let's give thanks this week, Pisces, for all the ways we are protected without even knowing it, and where the divine steps in to keep us. This is also the house of joy. What we love and what brings us joy is seen through the 5th house. And I think you're going to be very enthusiastic and full of buzziness this week, especially around the 28th of October, Pisces, regarding what brings you joy. Now, that's different for everybody, isn't it? Some people, it's putting on their favorite music and having a dance in the lounge room that brings them joy. For some people, it's going out to a party. But whatever it happens to be that brings you joy, something you love to do, you're going to have a lot of energy and enthusiasm to give to it this week. Just so happens I'm going to one of my best friends' annual Halloween party this week, so perfect for getting jiggy with it and having a party and dressing up in some sort of crazy costume. Something that I usually do here each year for my beautiful YouTube family, but I haven't done it this year, so I do apologize. Basically, my costume didn't arrive in time in the mail, so you'll have to wait till next year. But I hope you're all having a wonderful lead up to Halloween celebrations as well. Actually, Halloween is quite astrological, so I should perhaps do a very special video next week all about that energy. But yes, back to joy, fun, and celebrations here as well. So enjoy the energy that is unfolding in that regard. If there is any need for you to be assertive with lovers or with children, you're going to be able to do so in ways that are very non-threatening. So if you need to sit down and have a talk with the kids about pulling their weight around the house now, or you need to talk to a lover about something that you feel is just not working right in your relationship, then this is the week for doing so. It will go well. It will be well received. Keep that in mind. You can be confident that your any endeavors to do with the 5th house can go well under this magical, mystical energy. So especially creative work. You can get a lot of inspiration this week, Pisces, to perhaps, write a great novel or produce some sort of wonderful music or something like that. The 5th house is our creative intelligence, and Neptune making a trine can give divine level creative intelligence, aspirational creative intelligence. So just know, Pisces, that what you achieve this week in the creative realm could be really, really stellar. How lovely, Pisces. Enjoy. Sorry about that knocking in the background there. I think my neighbours must be doing some building. Aries rising, Aries sun, Aries moon, people. Well, the energy of, where are we? Neptune and Mars in a gorgeous, protective, benevolent trine is affecting your 4th house for Aries people. So this is an energy of actually being able to fulfill your desires regarding home, family. So you can hear the knocking that's going on, I think, in the background from a neighbor who's doing some renovating. This could be you, Aries, because you're going to have what it takes to put your dreams, Neptune, into action in your home space. This is a great week for doing the gardening, getting it done and making it more beautiful, for doing a reno and seeing it all come together just as you aspired for it to do. Your dreams, your aspirations for your home, your domestic life, your home environment can be very high-minded and can actually go very well. This is an energy of protection from problems and difficulties and blockages. Neptune allows things to flow. There are no boundaries here to the success that you can actually see. Usually to do something to do with tools, building, construction, that kind of thing. This is also the realm of the chart that has to do with family. And so your family can be very protected this week, I'm happy to say. So this includes your parents, particularly your mother. This is mother energy, or at least the more maternal of the parents is usually seen from the 4th house. And they are protected. They're divinely protected this week as well. Neptune is the angels. Mars is the energy of the warrior, the hero. So the angels are divinely protecting your family this week, and your parents, and even the maternal lineage as well. If you need to talk to your family in any way this week, my beautiful Aries friends, then this is a great week to do so. It's a really good week to sort of sit down with mum or with the kids or something like that and just sort of say, you know, this is where I'm struggling, and can you change doing this in the future, or can we sort this out? It's going to come across as, humble and gracious and not threatening, and you'll be able to sort out and resolve many problems if you were to address them this week under this energy. I talked about the date this energy is going to be strongest at the early part of this video. Basically, you're going to feel into this probably towards the end of the week, more so. Sorry, not the end of the week, the start of the week, when this is going to be at its peak. Now, this is the house of our emotions as well, how we feel about things and the emotions that bubble up inside of us. The good news with this combination is that ego and pride are not going to confuse our emotions. Sometimes we think it's our emotions that are telling us something, but really it's our sense of pride. That's going to take a back seat this week, and it's more about genuine, real, raw emotion. You'll understand why you feel the way you do without, my ego, my pride getting in the way of comprehending what's really going on. So in that sense, it can be really good. Sometimes Mars here can give a bit of anxiety, too much energy, too much over emotion, but the good news is that Neptune's pacifying this Mars through a trine, giving a sense of peacefulness to your emotions. So really good. In fact, I just encourage you, if you're feeling strung out emotionally at all, do something physical that is calming and relaxing and therapeutic. Don't increase the cortisol in the body. Instead, take a walk, in the sunshine, or, here in Australia, it's spring at the moment. Oh my God, the flowers are glorious this year. My roses, you should see them. Oh, sound like my grandma. She was always very proud of her roses, but far out, they are exceptional, and the smell is heavenly. Take a walk in the park, or, go and pull some weeds in the garden. Do something that is active but therapeutic as well. You might like to take a swim, or you might like to go out on a sailboat or something, or maybe a meandering bike ride through the country. Do something physically active. Mars energy is to be physically active, that gives peace and gives I love riding my bike through the country. I used to, when I lived not in the city where I currently live in. I used to live in a very small country town, and I could take a meandering bike ride through the bush, through the forest, and end up at my favourite cafe for a cup of tea, Earl Grey, and read a book while I was there and meander home. Oh my God, heavenly. But exactly what this is all about. It's taking some sort of activity and using it for peaceful purposes. Yoga can do the same thing for some people. Dancing, Neptune is dancing, Mars is active. So if you need some therapy for your emotions, that's your answer this week, my friends. Gorgeous energy. In fact, it's good anytime. You don't have to wait for this energy to form, but it's there when you need it most this week. So emotional happiness is available to you through those mechanisms this week. Now, what else can I tell you about this energy? Basically, I've covered it all. Family, any renovation and home, aesthetically making more beautiful endeavors can go very, very well this week. If you've got occupations based around some sort of 4th house thing, like hospitality, cooking, growing food, real estate, care and protective kind of occupations, they're actually, you're going to have a lot of creativity to put into those things, and they can also flourish this week too. You might have a lot of success in any of those realms this week, thankfully, for Neptune. Well, thank you, my Aries friends. Taurus rising, Taurus sun, and Taurus moon people. The energy of Neptune in a trine with Mars is going to be felt by you early this week, and I gave you the dates in the introductory portion of this video. It's going to be felt in the 3rd house where Mars is expressing. And so you're going to be very enthusiastic about maybe doing a short trip or taking some sort of little meander, some sort of travel, some sort of movement, because Mars is energetic. And Neptune has to do with long distance travel, but Neptune likes to do things for peaceful, gentle, flowing reasons. So, a drive in the countryside or a stroll along the beach. Use this restless 3rd house energy to create something, a beautiful experience, a beautiful memory, a heightened emotional feeling. So I just really encourage you, be active, but in a gentle way. Don't create too much cortisol in the body under this energy, and you'll do so well. So stroll through the park and so on. Be active. Don't be sedentary in this restless 3rd house. This is a house of relatives, neighbors, siblings as well. And of course, this energy is quite protective. So, if you've got any interactions with any of those types of people in your life, any conversations can go particularly well. You can say your piece if it needs to be said with those people in a very non-threatening way. They might come to you with something to say, something to communicate to you, and you can be very receptive to what they have to share. So there's blessing there in your communications, particularly with those people. But communications in general can come across in a more compassionate, gentle manner. And so, if you need to address any difficult issues with almost anybody, actually, you can do so this week, knowing that the divine has your back and you'll be protected from any difficult fallout from such things. Like maybe you need to address something with your neighbor. Maybe the fence is falling down and you need to go and tell your neighbor, we need to get quotes to replace this fence. Well, this is the week to do it, because they're going to be more receptive to what you have to say and more accepting of what you have to say. You can be protected from any sort of challenging, difficult conditions, sort of argumentative conditions, protected from that sort of thing because of Neptune's trine to Mars this week. And you can be confident that any endeavors involving other people of the nature that I've just described can go well for you this week as well. Now, this is a house of buying and selling and small business. If you're a small business owner, if you run a small business, just know this is going to be a good week for you. Again, you're protected from things, hitting the fan. It doesn't mean that you're going to, I don't know, let's say you're an author and you sell 1 million copies of your book. It doesn't mean that, but it means that the angels are watching over you, protecting you from challenges and disasters that you may never even realize were on the brink of happening. So in that sense, very, very good. And so generally speaking, you can do very well in business this week. No multimillionaires, that's not what I'm talking about, but just generally the universe has got your back with the endeavors that you're undertaking for whatever small business that you have. You'll have the courage, Mars energy, to put hard work into your business and make it successful. Also, it would be really, really good, Taurus, if you were to incorporate some kind of compassion into what you do. So Neptune's a compassionate energy. Let's say you're a hairdresser, for example. Well, maybe somebody comes in to have their hair cut, and they've been really struggling, but they've got a job. Maybe they've been unemployed for months, but they've got a job interview the next day, and they just want to have a nice, decent haircut. Maybe it would be lovely to offer, one haircut a week for a compassionate reason, such as somebody's finally got a job interview after having months on the dole or without work, that kind of thing. Or if you're a tattoo artist, for example, Mars rules tattoos and creation of tattoos. This is a small business. Let's say you're a house of small business. Let's say you're a tattoo artist. Well, maybe someone comes into you and they're a victim of domestic blindness. That's usually husbands, isn't it? Domestic violence. I'll get the right terminology out here. And they want to cover up their domestic violence scars. So maybe a compassionate thing that you could offer as a tattoo artist would be, once a week, somebody who's been a victim of domestic blindness can have their scars tattooed over as an act of compassion. So I'm just giving you a couple of examples. This energy says, how can you bring compassion and an act of generous benevolence to your small business? Believe me, it would generate word of mouth. It would generate so much good for your business, but also it will be incorporating this energy and using it to the best of your advantage. Neptune is the planet to do with miracles. It could bring a miracle not only to the life of the person you're blessing, but to your small business as well, especially as Neptune is currently, for Taurus people, coming from the third house of great rewards and gainfulness. So look for ways to be compassionate in your small business, and you will be blessed through this energy this week, my beautiful Taurus friends. It's a beautiful energy of enthusiasm, excitement, and this is a house of enthusiasm and excitement as well. So it's a lovely energy of vibrance, but not in an overwhelming high adrenaline way. It's in you're going to be excited about life and enthusiastic about what's happening in your life in a way that just feels happy, that just feels joyful and fun. This is a house of fun. So really good. You might even get some very benevolent news this week as well, Taurus. Some sort of news that buoys you up, news that feels like graciousness and a gift from the divine. The universe is on your side, protecting you with some kind of news that you receive. Thank you, my beautiful Taurus friends. Gemini rising, Gemini sun, Gemini moon people. Thank you for waiting up until lucky last, Gemini. But the energy of Neptune in a trine with Mars is expressing through your second house, the house of your resources, the house of self. And Neptune trine to Mars is saying we're protecting your resources this week. The universe, the angels are on your side, keeping a watch over the materiality of your life. So, your investments, your bank account, your clothing, this is a very helpful energy for maintaining your current material status. It's also a compassionate energy, Gemini, and I just want to encourage you, it would be great this week to utilize this energy for your advantage, and I would encourage you to do so by being compassionate with the resources that you've got to help others. So there were some other signs where using compassion was very much written in the stars. For you guys, it's not so much about doing something, but it's about giving something. This is a house of giving and receiving, or the axis of giving and receiving. So what can you give to help others? Maybe, the hurricane victims in North Carolina and Tennessee, all they may really want is, I know they need a lot of help at the moment, but maybe they want some kind of, like a donation or food boxes or something to be sent to our remote areas and what have you. What can you give that can be a blessing to people in need right now? There's plenty of opportunities to show compassion around the world going on right now, even on your very doorstep, even in the town in which you live. Look, I live in rural Australia, which all my life has been really rather affluent and prosperous, but more and more and more, thanks to goddamn neoliberalism, we are seeing, the decimation of culture and people living on the streets, even in rural Australia, where I've never seen that before in my life. And so, there's people in need of of food, people in need of blankets, shelter, medicine. Some people can't afford to buy medicine. What can you give to help? This is a compassionate energy, and it will bless you this week to be a blessing to others where you can and how you can. We need it. Just a little bit aside on that topic, Dave and I are going back to California for Thanksgiving just to see his parents and spend some time. And I know, like, every time we're in California, I'm astounded by the amount of poverty and homelessness that is there. And it always makes me question, what are the churches doing? What are what's the Salvation Army doing? Or is it just so out of control that it's even beyond the charitable institutes now? Because things are just in such a terrible, terrible way. Well, I don't know, Gemini, what ideas have you got? We should perhaps all on YouTube here put our heads together for how do we solve this terrible situation that the Western world particularly is facing. Okay, but it's not all up to you, Gemini. The whole lot of us need to get on board with making the world a better place however we can. But again, compassion is key this week with this energy. Now, what else is happening? Well, this is beautiful, actually, this lovely trine. It means you're going to be protected. This is the house of the resources you've got to draw on for your life success. And your resources, be they inner resources, your sense of self-worth and self-value, or external resources like your ability to pay for your groceries, they're protected this week. So your sense of value, your sense of how worthy you are, let's say somebody attacks you and makes you, would ordinarily make you feel less than. This is an energy that says they're not even going to be able to penetrate. It's like you've got Violet Incredible's force field around you, stopping any attacks that want to drag your sense of self-worth down from even getting through, from even piercing that armor. So that's wonderful. There's a divine protection around your soul this week regarding that, your sense of worth and your sense of value. A divine protection I've already mentioned around your resources as well. This is also has to do with being able to communicate in ways that are non-threatening. So sometimes when it comes to accumulation of resources and having enough stuff, sometimes we need to draw a bit of a line. Maybe somebody's been ripping us off. Maybe somebody's been taking advantage of us. Maybe somebody's been hasn't given us what we actually deserved to get. And maybe we need to say something to those people. I bought a car, as I think I mentioned in my last week's video, recently. And unfortunately, the person that I bought it, or the company that I bought it off, did not fulfill their advertising promise. So if I was a Gemini person, it would be of benefit to me this week to say a couple of words to that person who ripped me off financially. And I know that I could come across in an assertive way that didn't stir up trouble. Because Neptune trine, Mars is to be assertive. Neptune is this magical, mystical planet that keeps things calm and goes with the flow. So we can be assertive knowing that it's going to be non-threatening and received in a way that's going to help us resolve the issues. So if you need to say something to someone about some sort of money issue, or about some sort of resources, or some purchase that you've made or spending that you've done, this is the week. This is the week. Write that letter to Consumer Affairs. Approach those people that sold you that car and say what you need to say, because benefit and miracles can even come out of doing so this week, of asserting yourself on that topic, that issue. So Gemini, that is what I am seeing for everybody this week under Neptune trine Mars energy. Hang on to your hats, everybody, because next month is a doozy. Whew, here we go with November. Don't forget, I should have said this at the beginning, but don't forget to like, share and subscribe for the final time on this video to go into the draw to win a solar return report, because I'll be drawing a winner next week in next week's video. And until that time, Have a wonderful week and I'll catch you then.